Hello, Pod Smashers of the Internet, and welcome to another episode of
80-bit Pod Smashes! 3 days early, cause it's April Fools!
Where Gaming Goes to Grab a Beer. And I can't open this. It's a prank on me.
I got it. That is the prank. That's the prank.
That's it.
The prank is the prank. I guess the prank is that we're doing an episode early.
Yep, that's it. That's the prank.
So you guys got fooled last week when you thought that I was going to do the episode on Monday, April 4th. And that was the fooling, I guess. Right? Is that how that works?
Yes. Tomfoolery.
Yep. Yay, shenanigans. Yeah, April Fools, everybody. Happy April Fools, everybody. Hopefully this is a pleasant trick and a negative, I was deceived. The deception happened a week ago or whatever. Time is weird because since we record so advance, it's not even April yet for us. So it's weird doing all this. It's always weird doing this in March.
It is.
But yeah, that's the episode today. We are 80-bit Pod Smash. I am Penguin.
I am Termite, and we are a weekly video game podcast smashing together ideas that you care about with video games.
Yes, and clearly we know how much you all love April Fools. Everyone loves April Fools, right? Nobody gets annoyed or irritated on April Fools. It's a day of complete delight and wondery, and merriment and whimsy for all mankind. No, April Fools. This became a tradition for us last year when our episode happened to actually be a Monday that landed on April 1st, and it was all during a pandemic, so we decided we'd have some fun, and so we thought it would be a fun tradition to keep going. So it may not always be logically feasible for us to drop it, but since it was only 3 days early, we were like, let's do it. So welcome to our April Fools celebration, 80-bit Pod Smash. We will, I guess, then save the specifics of our topic for later. Those who listened last year probably know what we're going to be doing, but hopefully newcomers may be pleasantly surprised. I don't know. But we are where gaming goes to grab a beer. We'll get all to that. Before we do, let's talk about what beer we're drinking.
Yes. I, being half a mile away from Star Hill, decided I didn't want anything in my fridge and popped up there right before I got live on the microphone to go pick up, and I didn't even know this was a thing that they had, so it must be like a seasonal release or something, but it's a Red Velvet Imperial Dessert Stout, which, if it got any hotter than it was today, which was 70 degrees, this would not have been anywhere on my radar, but I saw it, and I was like, I'm kind of feeling this tonight. I kind of want a Red Velvet Cake Imperial Dessert Stout. And so it's only 8%, which is also kind of nice because whenever I see Imperial Stout on a can or a bottle, I'm like, get ready because it's going to be like 12 to 14%, but not this one. I guess because it's not barrel aged. But it's very light bodied, as in its feel. It is super dark. No light, barely any light shines through it. It actually has the thick, it looks like a Coca-Cola. That's exactly what it looks like in my glass. And it's relatively sweet. I don't really get a lot of Red Velvet, though. It just tastes like a sweet stout.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, if you got Red Velvet, that is unfortunate because you had me interested. I was like clinging with bated anticipation because I wanted to hear if it tasted like Red Velvet.
Yeah, I don't get any it just tastes like a sweet stout. It's not bad. This is good.
Is Red Velvet, though, right? Like, I mean...
It's true. What is it, right?
Right? Like... Culinary experts tell me, yeah, it's right. It's like an extra sweet chocolate that is dyed red, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's no actual velvet in it, because then that would be disgusting. So I don't know. Culinary experts out there, baking experts, you great British baking show people, can tell me what Red Velvet is or isn't, and what distinguishes it from other chocolate cakes, and therefore what would make it stand out. What is that ingredient that is the quote Red Velvet that would stand out in a beer? I don't know,
what
but
makes that
I
happen?
do like sweet beers, so
and
I wouldn't pay a premium for that, though. I would just be like, okay, it's the same $5 as the rest of them. It sounds interesting. Let's give it a try.
Well, the cool part, speaking of premiums, is on Mondays at the Star Hill Brewery here in Crozet, as well as their dairy market location in Charlottesville, downtown Charlottesville. Every Monday, 20% off all beer to go from their fridge. So not growlers or crowlers, but just from their like stock that you would buy at the store. If you buy it at the brewery instead, 20% off. So a 4-pack was only $12, which is $3 a can. So I got this pint for $3. So
it comes in pints?
In pints. Yeah. So awesome tidbit for anyone who's listening in the Crozet or Charlottesville area. If you're interested at all in Star Hill, go buy your take-home beer on Mondays. Do your grocery shopping. Get it in. 20% off. It's good stuff.
I will put a pin in that because we can talk about that as our banter here in a second. Instead, I will say what I'm drinking, which should be quick because it is just the last of my honey wheat porters that I got from snowshoe. It is my goodbye to winter beer, I suppose. It was also just the only thing I had in my fridge. And despite
Nice.
my desire to go on a candy run, I did not have any time to go on a candy run today, in
Mm.
which I would have also bought beer to
Yep.
stock up. So I'm going to need to make a run. What I do need is an excuse to get up to Total Wine to properly restock. Or I do have to go to Richmond tomorrow, so maybe I just need to find
Ooh,
or
go to
stop
Arden.
into a brewery or something. Oh, well, I can't go. I'm not going that far down, though. That's the thing, is I'm going like the northern end. So I need to find something. I need to find a good brewery in the northern end of Richmond to buy beer. Or maybe I'll swing by Kotu. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's say
That's
Center
a
of the
great
Universe is up
idea.
there. Yeah.
Boom. That's it. I'll try to make
Yep.
a
You beat me
point
to it. I was
do that
about to
tomorrow.
suggest. Isn't Final Gravity on kind of the northern end?
It is,
that what
and
it's-
I went.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's really near where I go to my to do the work I do at the data center, because I would drive by it whenever I did plasma, and I swung by in there one time, and they just had like wall to wall IPAs. It was insane, and though I'm sure you would love it, I was just like, there's nothing I want here, so I just
Gotcha.
left. So
Wait, how long ago was that?
it was in the middle of the summer, which is like IPA season, and it was
Yeah.
like a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I want to say it was.
Now it's like
I want to say it was last
probably
year.
overtaken by seltzers and hard sparkling water.
Is that what breweries are they brewing seltzers? Is that
A
how
lot
that
of them
works?
are. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
really?
at least one on
Interesting.
tap.
Okay,
in
well, I
most
was
places,
scoffing.
Yeah.
I was interesting.
Yep.
One thing I was gonna say though is I've been researching a little bit, trying to figure out if I want to look into how much it would cost to get my groceries delivered. Not just, I mean, by like Instacart, right, from a local grocery store. I mean, like Amazon, like will deliver groceries to you,
Mhm.
and there are some things that are not feasible. But like we get meal kits, and they have fresh foods in them, and they come fine, right? Like
Yeah.
we haven't really gotten anything that's been like spoiled rotten yet. We've had like some close calls. And there might have been one or two things we've thrown out, but it's usually we let it sit too long after it arrives, and then it goes bad. So it's not like
Yeah.
we haven't really had anything that's arrived bad, except for maybe one thing, like I said. So if they can do that, then certainly they can send my groceries to me, and
Yes,
they'd
they
be
can.
in fine condition. So I just don't know how much more expensive it is then. And there's all these like different services now, right? And so we just got like in the mail randomly, we got like a coupon, $40 off your first order. And I'm like, maybe it's not worth it for more than the first order, but if it saves us a trip to the grocery store and saves us money for the one order, then sure, it's worth looking into. So
Yeah,
I'm
why
really
not?
intrigued by it, because gosh, that sounds like the future, man. Like I'm so sick of
Yeah.
having to take
We'll use
time out of
grocery
my
service
day.
pickup. We do pickup all the time. I think we've had our groceries delivered
Even
once.
pickup, it's like, so one of us has to leave the house, which puts the other one
Yeah.
in with the kids, or we take the kids with us, which has had to happen before. And even though it's not the worst thing in the world, I know I sound like the epitome of first world problems right now. I'm just like, if the technology enables it, then there's no need for it, and the
Right.
technology enables it. But if it is cost prohibitive, then that's a problem.
Exactly. And it depends on where you live and how many stores
yeah,
are
that's
around you
true.
and how many
Yeah.
services there are that service your area. Because, like, I
That's what
don't
I'm
think
saying,
we
like,
are
Amazon
eligible
just
for
ships
delivery.
it. Mhm.
Well, yeah, Whole Foods is
But
here.
do
I've
they-
seen neighbors do it.
Oh, I see. So it's all out of Whole Foods. So that makes sense. Like it's
So
not just
far,
like
I think
Amazon's
the only-
warehouse
yeah,
that's shipping it out.
right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, groceries is from Whole Foods. If you're getting from Amazon delivery
Right,
to your
that's right.
house. Yeah. Yeah. And there
Do
is a
the
Whole
same
Foods close to
drivers though?
Charlottesville.
Like, do they?
No, they work for Whole
It's
Foods.
a different driver.
But
Okay,
the
I see.
app, like you order your
Got it.
groceries through the Amazon store, and so like you're using the Amazon app, the same app you would use to buy video games or whatever else. But like it's Whole Foods is doing it. It's weird. But yeah,
Nice.
I've seen Whole Foods deliver to our neighborhood before. But we've always just done
Yeah.
pickup because Alex,
Yeah.
my wife, works in Charlottesville, so she just gets off work. She's already by herself and out there and just
Boom.
pops in,
Yep.
picks up groceries, and done.
And you see, if that was efficient for me, that's how we would do it too.
Right. Yep.
But finding a store that's good, right? Like not just that has it, right? Because I've had Walmart has been a mixed bag for us, where it's like,
Oh,
okay, yeah,
yikes.
sometimes sometimes they're on point, but the vast majority of the times that I've always done it, they've been awful, giving us entirely wrong orders and stuff like that, and don't know until I get home. Ridiculous stuff. So we had a lot of luck with Aldi. Aldi's been fantastic with it recently, but I don't have an Aldi between me and where I go down for work, like once a week that I leave the house for work. So that means one of us got to go up to Fredericksburg, which is like, okay, all right, is this so out of our way, right? So and that's part of where we live. We live. It's our choice that we live here. But still, it's one of those things. Kind of fun. So it just seems so interesting to me. The notion. Can you imagine, like when we were kids, it was. Yeah, no, it's such an entirely different way of receiving your family's food.
Yep.
That has only been enabled within the last like 10 years and
Hmm.
hasn't
It
even really
really
been.
came to a head with COVID, right? That was like
Yeah,
when everyone started jumping in on it because the stores were shut down. So what better way to sell product than to bring it to people's doors? Makes
yeah.
sense, and that's what
Friends of mine
happened.
know that I often bring up the Neolithic Revolution in conversation, casual conversation, obviously.
Hmm.
But Neolithic Revolution is the point in time where humans developed agriculture, right? We stopped being hunter gatherers, and we developed this notion of like planting food in the ground and then harvesting the seeds and then doing it again. Huge advancement for all of human society. Clearly, it's one of the most influential things we've ever done.
Hmm.
Because that's when like cities popped up and blah blah blah. So all of much of like everything you have today traces back to the Neolithic Revolution. And I just think that like again, it's all about just like providing food for your family. Like all of those human society exists because like a bunch of really early humans were like, we got to find a better way to provide food for our family because this whole hunting, tracking down whatever animals are out there, or just like roaming around trying to find which berries are the right colors and which ones are the poisonous ones, like it ain't working for us, yo. Like
Nope.
this is not feasible or sustainable. It's like we've gone from that to now I click a button on my computer and it automatically deducts currency from my electronic bank account, and dude rolls up in a truck and drops it off on my house. It's only a matter of time till like drones do it, right? Like flying machines drop food off
Yep.
at my house. Like, are we like early humans would look at it if they could like look into the future and see us, or if we were to go back in the past and show them what society was like, they think we were gods. Like, but no,
Yep.
we're just humans that have advanced. It's always
Yep.
fascinating to me, those things.
And then you have
So
like robots stalking the robots. So like the the drones that
yeah.
like deliver. So it's the stores have no people in them. It's just
Uh-huh.
warehouses of food, and so like the farmers just drop off the food, and robots handle it from there. It's
Yeah, and
all
lots of
like done,
robots do
right?
farming now too. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
could be nuts. We're looking
automation
at
is
Wally right
like
here.
a scary, yeah, automation is kind of like not a scary thing. Automation does come with its own levels of pitfalls, but just from a sheer, if you take all of the like political, and not just political but just like literal human cost that comes out of automation, if you subtract that away for just a second and just look at what we're capable of doing now as a species, it's fascinating how far
Mm-hmm.
we've come
Yep.
and how comparatively fast we've done it as a species. And we have one shot, humanity. Like if we wipe ourselves out, it's the last chance our species have. I don't know if you know this
Yeah.
concept where like we've mined everything in the earth. There's no more mineral. There's not going to be no more ore left. There's
Right.
going to be. We've taken all the like low
We've
hanging fruit.
consumed it all. Yeah.
We've made it. We've
Yep.
consumed it. Like there's going to be nothing for a pre-industrial second humanity if we wipe ourselves out. Nuclear war, World War III, Putin. If he gets a little trigger happy and ends civilization,
We're done.
we're not going to be done. We're not going to be done as a species. We'll still be here. We'll survive that. But whatever humans come next, they won't have any ore to mine, so they won't be able to industrialize. And so our chance at like becoming a Type 3 civilization that can like build Dyson spheres across stars, across the entire galaxy, and literally harvest all of the resources of the entire galaxy, that's a Type 3 civilization. Our chance is now. And so if you screw it up, guys, then that's it. We're done for. We're going to be stuck on this rock forever. So get it
Do what
together.
you can. Renewable resources, recycle,
and
compost,
also
solar energy.
Love one another and be chill, right? We're in this
Right?
together. We're all stuck on this stupid rock together. But this rock is the only rock that we know of that has video games. So video games, having a podcast that is about video games, they are definitely our favorite thing, more so than existential crises that we all face as humanity. But
doing this podcast is our favorite thing.
Doing this podcast is our favorite thing. Favorite Things is a segment of our show that Termite will tell you about.
It's not immune to April Fools, so we're still doing it, but it's a little fun bit where we talk about something that we're digging, and it can be deep and shallow and meaningful, like a wonderful evening with your spouse or significant other, or something as shallow as I loved the food at the food court at work today, and it was delicious, or something. I don't work in a food court, but
do you have a favorite thing that you've
I do.
thought about in Moldova?
I do have a favorite thing.
I need to think about mine.
Yeah, it's fine. So, as their audience might know, that I moved into a community that is called co-housing. It is a special type of organized community where we're intentional about managing the community together as a group.
It's
and
100%
so instead of
not a cult, guys.
it's not even
a cult.
There's no
guys.
comparison. It's not.
No, nothing. There's nothing to compare
nothing.
it whatsoever to a cult.
Not even a little bit.
We don't even talk about. We're not even allowed to talk about how much it's not like a cult.
So the entire community is arranged into committees, and the committees manage different aspects of the community, to upkeep from the property to managing like what we call a common meal that we have every single Thursday night, where the entire community eats together, and one family cooks for the entire community, and it's a giant rotation, so we only have to do it like once every 20 weeks, which is pretty great. So anyway, we had a party for one of the community members here that was not really, I don't even know why I brought up the co-housing thing, because it's nothing to do with that. It's just a group of friends here in the neighborhood whose birthday was one of them, and his wife decided to surprise him and order pizza and provide some drinks and organize us getting together outside. So normally, if I was to get together with friends for a party that involved drinking and pizza, I would have to plan who's driving and what that looks like. You can't drink too much, or you have a designated driver, and you have to plan an entire evening that involves a 20 to 30-minute drive to someone's house or to a place to do this at. I was able to just walk 2 minutes, not even that, across the yard over to an area where we have picnic tables set up and lights strung in the trees that already existed. It's already set up. So there was like barely any setup at all. And sit around and enjoy pizza that was picked up from one of the other community members, and drink and have fun. And it was awesome. And it was nice out, and it was amazing.
Sounds lovely.
And then I just walked home. That was it. And then I still was like able to put the kids to bed. I didn't there was no burden on my family at all. It was just like a regular evening after the kids go to bed. Instead of watching a TV show, I just walked across the yard to join all of my neighbors in some revelry, which was awesome. So we were with some rebels in a revel on a hot night. It was great.
You were reveling with those rebels.
We're not really rebels,
you
though.
did it. You did it all. The whole thing.
Mhm.
Oh, my favorite thing. Actually, two things. I briefly mentioned how this should have been my favorite thing last week in our last week's episode on morally gray video game developers and people making things that you love that are not awesome people. That are actually terrible people. We had that episode. It was a bit of a downer. Good episode, though. Definitely worth a listen to, because we get into delving some cool stuff. And in that episode, I mentioned how I was listening to an audio book from Michael Schur, the guy who wrote The Good Place.
Yeah.
And it was a book on moral philosophy, everything he learned about moral philosophy and researching that book. And it is definitely one of my favorite things. You guys should look into it, but get the audio book. There is just take the idea of there being a physical book out of your mind, because 100% the best way to consume this thing, especially if you're a fan of The Good Place, is by listening to it, because you have the whole cast of The Good Place in it. So I recap that, talk about that last week. So that is definitely still listening through that, learning a lot, loving it, favorite thing.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Well, that is favorite things, which leads us to DLC. But here's the twist. It's April Fool's. So
what?
DLC is not DLC. It is our main topic too. It's all DLC day. DLC. No more DLC.
DLC for an hour. Or however long we're going to go.
Like 45 minutes. Yeah, probably 30 more minutes. We're not going to have it's not going to be a full feature-length episode or whatever. This is just for fun. We'll go until we get bored. But DLC is our fun. Every episode we do this gimmick, this game. If this is your first time, this is your very first episode listening to us. If you are getting in here, this is an interesting one to get in on, and that's okay, because we do these conversations, these DLC prompts, we do them every week, and they are just like questions you wouldn't normally ask about video games that are meant to be fun and facilitate a more improvised, fun discussion, not something that we researched and written up thoughts on ahead of time in advance. It's really just like more of like a jokey, fun question. But since it's April Fool's, we're just going to do DLC all day. No crazy dramatic topic. Termite vetoed the straight out, internet tradition of just lying to you all. And I wanted to make it pretend like
gotten burned by this too many times.
Right. You don't. It doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of it. And Termite, as a creature of empathy, is like, oh, we will not do that. Whereas Penguin is a creature of sarcasm and is like, yeah, but let's troll them. So anyways, yes, we were going, I wanted to pretend like we were so angry at each other over our From Software drama that we were breaking up the podcast, and Termite said, no, don't do that, that's mean. And I said, okay, fine. So we're just gonna do DLC all day DLC every
for
day.
years.
Yeah, so we have a bunch. We're probably not gonna do all of them. We're gonna do some of the fun ones that we want to do. So anyways, let's just jump into it then. I guess we'll do our first DLC. I guess we'll do our tradition. Last year we did Who Did This?
Who did this?
Which is a play on a DLC we came up with a while ago. I think it was like a Christmas one or whatever, where it was like, who got me this? But this is Who Did This?
Who did
so
this?
I want you. So the way this works is one of us will come up with a clever prank that you would see on April Fool's traditionally, and the other one will come up with a video game character, and we have to then mash those things together and say, who did this? And then, like, what does it look like to have that character do that thing, right? So who did this prank? Which video game character? We don't know which one's picking which ahead of time. And so it's not like we've planned this out. So it's going to be all improvised. So basically, what would it look like? What would it look like for not Solid Snake to egg your house or whatever? Kind of the idea here. That's for an example. That's not the one we're doing. So which do you want to pick? Do you want to pick the prank or the video? I kind of want to pick the video game character. I haven't done it in a while.
Okay. Yeah, pick the character, and I will think of a prank.
A prank.
Think of something
take a few
fun.
seconds. We can always cut this dead air. So give your second a second to think.
Okay. I think I got something, but I hope it fits into the rules of what you had set out. So I'm gonna go with it. We'll see.
Is it a prank?
It is.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get there. We'll just try it out.
Well, yeah.
See what happens.
It's gotta. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go with a character that I am pretty sure we haven't used yet. So your prankster is Falco from Star Fox.
Oh,
just came to me.
Falco Lombardi.
Falco Lombardi. Exactly.
Love it. So the prank is this video game character is going to remake the game that they star in. But it's a fake announcement. It's not real. So it's going to be showed off to the world. One of those,
like, fake.
And it will drive hypes.
I love it. That's it.
Yes.
That's good. Right. Like, so one of those fake trailers that they're trolling the rest of the world with, but they make everyone think it's real. So, I mean, it's Star Falco, right? Like, the game's title is going to... He's obviously making a game.
Obviously Star Falco.
Which actually...
Fox McCloud is not even in it.
Pause. No, Fox McCloud is a side character on his team. He is his Patsy.
I love
Falco so desperately wants a game where Fox is sidelined.
This is the perfect prank because everyone really wants this.
Exactly.
And then it would be fake.
I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, that actually sounds like an incredible spinoff. It
does.
Has to have its own twist though. So obviously, like Star Fox is a like a space shooter flight shooter rail shooter game, kind of, right? It's on the rails, kind of.
But you know what Star Fox game most folks did not like that's in the genre, and it's not. We're not going to talk about Star Fox Zero on the Wii U because that was just an abomination.
Are you talking about Dinosaur Adventure?
Yes, Star Fox Adventures.
I love Dinosaur.
I loved it too. It was amazing, but most Star Fox fans didn't like it.
How old were you? Because I feel like we might have been the age where we were the...
I was in high school because that was one of the first games I bought with my own money. Ever.
Right.
Like, I had a job and bought games with my own money, and I think
I was in middle school or upper elementary school. You were a couple years older than me, so if you were in high school, probably middle school, but it could have been also like 5th grade. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was amazing. I loved that game, and I wanted so badly for them to make another one. Still do.
Me too. Yeah.
So, but I don't think this game should be that. I do think...
Well, that's the prank, right? It's like, here's a we're remastering, or we're coming out with a new entry in the Star Fox franchise, but it's a spin-off. It's called Star Falco.
Star Falco.
And then it shows like the R-Wings like flying for just a moment, and then it's like rewind, scratch disc, whatever.
Fly
and it's
to drop the Landmaster tanks, and the whole game is tank game, and it's
battle tanks.
It's the same thing as Star Fox. It's the same as Star Fox, more or less, like the same setup where you go planet to planet, but instead of flying, you're tank driving, and your team of tank warriors.
And then everyone's
and Fox
like,
just provides you with aerial support. Fox is just there when you call in, be like, Fox, I need an airstrike. Boom. Oh no, I actually want this game to exist. Freaking Nintendo, make it happen.
Well, I would just be angry that it was a tank game because I want a space rail shooter. And so it's
Right,
a
you
perfect
call it
prank. It's like,
Star
oh,
Fox.
this is such a good idea, but they missed it because they're using a tank.
It takes place all on one planet. It's all instead
Yeah.
of like planet hopping, it's all just like different cities on a single planet.
Mhm.
And all Fox's roles there is provide you with air support and pick you up to drop you off in the next city, so you can do the real bird's work.
Yes.
I love it. Which is also ironic because he's a bird, so he should be flying, and yet he's
Right.
on the tank.
He's a tank. And Peppy
I do feel
Hare
like,
is
yeah.
just drunk the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah,
He's just like
not
an
there.
alcoholic that comes in.
Falco's got his own, like his support team on the ground is his own team, his own group of competent star creatures.
Yeah. Slippy comes in, just yells some things and runs away.
No, Slippy is the bad guy. That's the big reveal at
Ooh.
the end. The end of
Nice.
the teaser, you see Slippy's gone
teams
rogue
up.
and he's
Okay.
bad, and he's the bad guy. Yeah, I love it. That's it. Who
So
did
what-
this?
Who
Falco
did this? It's perfect.
Falco did this joke. This prank. That's great. I love it. That was fun. That was a fun one. All right. Any other thoughts on this, guys? This is probably a good time to. This is where we normally tell the listeners and Pod Smashers who you think would do this, or what you think a Star Falco game would look like. And Termite will share with you all the places that you can share those ideas if you have them.
Tell us how Captain Falcon can come in and Falcon punch Falco in the face and make an F-Zero spinoff over at 80bitpodsmash.com. 80bitpodsmash.com. That's our landing website with links to all of our other social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, as well as a Discord server where we chat about the things that are going on in our current events that's more up to date than our episodes that are recorded a couple of weeks in advance sometimes. So if you want to be relevant on the day of news poppin', you can come grab us on Discord and we can discuss all the hype and all the fun or disappointments or anger, whatever you would like, whatever spectrum of emotion you would like to share on Discord. 80bitpodsmash.com. That's our landing site. If you are listening to this episode on YouTube or some other crazy weird place and you want to know where our actual podcast is, we have links at that same exact website for Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and everywhere else you would like. By way of our RSS feed, you can throw it into any podcast app. I think we've covered everywhere. So if we are not in the corner of the internet that you can't see us and you would like us to be with you in your corner, then let us know and we will put ourselves there just for you.
Except anything that ends with Chan. We're not going to be in 4chan.
Yeah,
or
we don't do
Chan.
that. Yeah,
no,
no.
none of them Chans.
Nope. And there's this other platform called like Truth or something that's actually a bunch of
No,
lies
absolutely not.
and like
Yeah.
misinformation. We're not going to be a part of that either. So there's that.
Yeah, no, it's let's not get into that. What I will say is Falco deserves an homage, or rather Captain Falcon deserves an homage in a StarCraft game. There needs to be a cinematic or something where Falco gets really mad at Fox and Falco punches him in the face and says "Falco punch" as a little Easter egg for.
Yes, but you said
Smash
StarCraft, which evoked Blizzard.
Did I?
And I got really confused for a while as I was
Star
following
Fox,
along.
Star Fox. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, it should be a Star
Gotcha.
Fox game or Star Falco.
Hey, you know?
Cool. Hey, well, DLC fans, DLC's not over. This is the one time
Nope.
a year where you get to DL indulge. And so DLC number 2, our next prompt, our next discussion is, which video game do you think would make the best musical? And what famous musical director is directing it? And who? What actor? Any actor. Obviously, the better the singing voice, the more likely. But what actors are starring in this musical of this
Ooh.
video game? So rule out
okay.
automatically no Legend of Zelda because Link ain't singing. Although that would also be fun if you had the whole time the star of the show on stage, most stage time, never sing. Would be great, but we
That would be
cover
pretty
Zelda
funny.
all the time. So
Yeah.
let's. Here I am. I'm like ideating. I'm like, we're not going to do that. But if you did do that, here's how it worked.
You're right. Yeah,
It's
you just
very,
keep going.
Very
That's-
penguin. That's very penguin.
Yes, it's very you.
What?
I was actually thinking like maybe it was a Freudian slip or not, but StarCraft. A space musical opera, like all of the characters already have
Dude, I
this
feel
like
so bad for the Protoss actors though, having to sing with like their mouth covered by like prosthetics.
Yeah. But I
That
feel
would be
like the
great.
political aspect of it would like kind of grab from what
Yeah.
Hamilton was trying to do. And I don't know what kind of music it would be. I mentioned opera earlier. It doesn't have to be, but I was just thinking like a space opera, the genre, right? What we call that.
Nothing
and
talks like American space opera. Space opera is like Star Wars,
right? I
Flash
know,
Gordon, where it's not actually musical. It's just
right.
We call it
in the
opera,
musical
but...
sense. It would be opera, which is like Italian yelling.
I was gonna say nothing.
Musically.
Oh, really? You want it to be opera? You want it to
doesn't
be,
have to be. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
I said the word opera when I was alluding to the story.
So
of
a
like
space opera musical. I love it.
Right.
The real quick though, you're like, yeah, I could like have a lot of politics like Hamilton. I said, yeah, nothing says American politics quite like selling yourself to a parasitic infestation species in order to take over their hive mind and use it to destroy an even greater hive mind threat to the galaxy. That's
sounds very American to me.
That's it. You're infiltrating the hive mind of your political opponents and using it to destroy them from the inside out.
That sounds right. That's about
No, I think you're right. I'm not challenging you at all. I'm saying nothing says American politics quite like that. So who's directing it and who's playing Jim
who was
Raynor?
I shouldn't say bad things. Who was the person that did the Phantom of the Opera?
Yes, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yep,
but not
he
him.
should do this. Yeah.
Really? You think Andrew Lloyd Webber should do StarCraft? All right.
Yeah.
Phantom of the
there's something
Space
about
Opera.
like Jim Raynor and an analogy to like
melodramatic characters larger than life.
Yep.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying.
Was it Zeratul? No, is it Zeratul?
He's the
My life
Protoss
for
guy.
Ire. My life for Ire.
Yeah.
Ire. Who's Ire? Is Ire like their god or something? I'm trying to someone like we need someone to play like someone who's incredible, an incredible freaking performer, singer. I'm gonna say Hugh Jackman only because like I know Hugh Jackman can sing, or like Neil Patrick Harris. But playing playing the Protoss leader, and all of his songs are pre-recorded and played over the speaker because they're telepathic. And that would be Neil Patrick Harris. He would actually be able to have fun with that, like an actor who could actually have fun with that. I'd be into it.
Yeah,
cool. I was thinking for a musical for my contribution to this DLC. I was thinking of Horizon. In honor of Horizon Forbidden West, I think that Horizon Zero Dawn musical with a great. We need to think of like the perfect actress for Aloy, though. Like I would say like if it were just a movie adaptation, I would say Jessica Chatfield or whatever. I forget her name. I'm sorry, Jessica out there. Redheaded Jessica Chenoweth. Yeah, no,
Kristen Chenoweth.
No, it's a different. No, sorry. I don't know. Redheaded actresses play Aloy that can also sing. Amy Acker, she's a little old.
Oh, Amy Adams?
Amy Adams.
From The Muppets? / a bunch of other things that she's done?
Rachel McAdams in a redheaded wig. I think she can sing, right? Can she sing? I don't even know.
I'm looking up
redheaded
Rachel
actresses
McAdams
who can sing. She's from
Rachel McAdams is like she was also in like
Mean
Wedding
Girls.
Crashers.
Yeah,
and The Notebook.
She's kind of like The Notebook. Yeah, no.
I don't know if she can sing. I have no idea.
She'd make a great Aloy. She's got that like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed like demeanor.
I don't know. She's She's too pretty. Sounds not in a bad way, but like in too a musical, girly.
No. But in like a musical, you that's like the kind of the thing you're going for. Like you almost overly. I know that sounds sexist, but we're not doing a live at it. The reason I picked musicals is because like musicals tend to be this like over the top version of the thing. I think of like that episode of Avatar where you watch Last Airbender. You've seen it certainly, right?
Oh gosh,
when they went to the Fire Nation,
one of the best episodes ever.
Incredible, and that's what I'm talking about. Is you pick the thing. So yeah, like you can't necessarily pick an actress who's too pretty for Aloy.
I got you.
Because that's the point.
That makes total sense.
Is you want someone who's because I would agree with you in a movie adaptation, you would want to pick someone who could reflect Aloy's more like strength characteristics as opposed to just her attractiveness or whatever. So but this is a musical. You want someone who's like the world. I think it would be directed well by Stephen Sondheim. Would do a good job. He's the one who did like Wicked.
Okay.
Let's see, I could also see, I know that again this is just coming from the fact that I'm a recent convert to Hamilton, but like could see Lin-Manuel Miranda having a lot of fun with that.
course.
Like
Yep.
just the breadth of musical choices because of all the different tribes and their own, like they all have their own feelings. He's already done stuff with like more quote primitive cultures, like with Moana and stuff like that, right? Where he's sort of explored this idea of what do tribal societies, what does their musical style look like? So he could totally have fun with that. And then with the robots, he could totally work in some, like some more of the kind of rap elements that he likes to weave in there. That obviously was present in Hamilton. So I think it would
Hmm.
be a lot. I think we'd have a lot of fun with Horizon Zero Dawn
And
musical.
what I love about, and I actually jumped back into Horizon Forbidden West because I had
Yeah.
finished up Elden Ring and kind of I took a break, played Gran Turismo 7, and I'm at a point with that game that I can kind of put it down and it's a racing game. I'll just pick it up whenever I feel like racing, and like it'll just be
Right.
forever game. But then I moved back over to Horizon Forbidden West and realized how none of the tribes. So in the West, it's not super spoilery, but there's like a fractured tribe, like a diaspora of people that are kind of under one chief, and there's a whole bunch of politicking going on between all the different clans within that under like bigger umbrella, and none of them are racially stereotyped or like shoehorned. Like every single clan is actually its own diverse collection of races, and it stood out to me. It was like this is the opposite of what we have seen in the past, where we see like a race stereotyped in a negative way. And so, anyway, you just made me think about that because it'd be perfect
they
for a type of
definitely-
musical that could
Yeah.
grab things that are in the genre of Wicked, but also grab things that are in the hip hop genre from like Lin-Manuel's contributions. Because it would make sense thematically because that's what the game does visually, as well as
and
in
they
this musical,
explain
it could do it musically.
because they had, again, it was just like they had like a DNA bank, right? And they just sort
Yeah.
of like, and so it was just
Roll the dice.
all kind, right,
Everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like, so every quote racial combination that you could think of.
Yeah,
Now there
it's
are people
awesome.
who are like, you would think that after a few generations they would be, because of that fact, they would be more homogenized, meaning that because of such genetic diversity, it would kind of push enough of like a
You
sort
look
of,
like me. Let's hang out together. And then so like
no,
that would
not
evolve
necessarily
into
that. No,
no.
the opposite. Right. It would be more like the blend, right? I always think of it as the quote ethnically ambiguous person, where
Yeah.
you're like, there's just the way that their genes express is like, oh, I can't quite tell. And that poor person, I have friends who were quote ethnically ambiguous, but that's what they
gotcha.
say like the future would look like, right? Where everyone
I
would kind
see.
of be this sort
Yeah.
of like brown/black hair, and it would be kind of like where the genetic medium is.
So like no one really fits into any race.
Exactly.
It's like everyone is ambiguous.
Right.
So there's not a
Right.
clear Asian
I've
person
heard
or like a clear
exactly.
brown person. Or
But I heard
yeah.
another argument that was like, even if you look at like very racially homogenous populations, you still see a wide level of genetic variety. Like
Yeah.
even people in like Africa, where it's obviously much darker skin, you even see like the occasional like person with lighter skin while still being like ethnically identifiable as or rather racially identifiable as black.
Yep.
Or African. Like so it's like, so yeah, there's arguments on both sides. But you're right, you're absolutely right. It would be good for all those reasons. So
Yeah.
all right, I think we have time for one more. So I think let's skip blank. I want to do this last. I want to do this last one because we just played it and it would be fun to talk about. So we're gonna do the good old conversation of we're gonna call it, for family friendly purposes, we're gonna call it Marry, Kiss, Kill.
There you go. That's perfect. Yep.
Yeah, marry, kiss, kill.
Yeah.
So the old way this used to work when we were elementary school, middle school, and high school students was 3 women, but we're gonna do 3 men too because we're fair here on 80-Bit Pod Smash and open minded and all that good stuff. So 3 women that you would marry, 1 you would marry, 1 you would kiss, and 1 you would kill, and then 3 men, 1 you would marry, kiss, and kill, but they all have to be Elden Ring bosses.
Right. That's the stipulation, right?
That's the stipulation.
I like
Yep.
it.
So I suppose you could pick Elden Ring NPCs, but lean towards bosses because I know that they skew heavily towards the. I think they skew the NPCs are kind of genderly diverse, but the bosses do skew a bit male, I think, or so monstrous that who could even tell, right? So yeah, marry, kiss, kill. I would count Queen Marika as a boss. So if that helps, yeah. So I think I have mine. If you want me to go first, but if you have yours,
I am
you have
ready
yours?
to go.
All right, so I guess I'll do my Mary and you can do your Mary, and we can both do like we'll go through each one, Mary and then kiss and then kill. Each going
Sounds good.
one at a time. Okay, cool, awesome.
Yep.
All right, so I would marry Melania, the
Ah,
Valkyrie lady,
the
Scarlet
worst.
Rot.
Nope.
She's strong, powerful. She takes what she wants and gives nothing back. She would make a glorious ally. We would conquer many kingdoms together. I am attracted to strong women and would want to bind myself to. Did bind myself to a strong woman. So I see
Oh,
a lot of my
okay.
wife in
Yeah.
Melania. I guess I'll tell
I
her
don't.
that.
But okay.
Who would you marry?
I would definitely marry, no doubt, no question, right off the cuff, Renala, Queen of the Full Moon.
Ooh,
In a
yeah.
library, ridiculously intelligent, just like knows she is the leader of that entire fort. I don't want to spoil the story too much, but there's like a whole
She's also
quest line that she's like the
mother I'd like to marry, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
She is an interesting choice, considering that like we probably shouldn't say Ronnie, because like I would go with Ronnie with Mary if like she was a boss, but she's an NPC, so technically we could have gone that direction if either of us wanted to. But I totally respect the Renala pick. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Weird clothes though. You have to get used to like a weird hat. Weird
okay with
hats
that.
in general. I'm sure. Okay, all right.
Just clothes.
Would she walk in on you one day like wearing her crazy moon hat?
No, I don't.
But it boosts
wear my
your
own
intellect
clothes.
by +5. That's pretty impressive.
I would wear Ronnie's hat. Because I did. Through my entirety, it was the moment I got it in the game. That's the only hat I wore. It was awesome.
Fantastic hat. That is a fantastic hat. All right.
Really is.
Cool. So then I guess that leads us to who would you kiss?
I just went, right? So it's your turn.
Oh, yeah, it's my turn. I would kiss... I'm blanking. Oh, I would kiss Queen Marika. That's kind of why I said that. She is a valid pick, because even though, like, I don't know the lore well enough to know if the last boss is technically any involved, but she's like boss enough, right? She's kind of responsible for the stuff going on, but she's a strong, powerful lady that is worshipped across the world. So just for the bragging rights of saying I kissed Queen Marika, like every time you walk by one of those like statues of her, I'd be like, yeah, I kissed that once. It was pretty hot. Not really.
Isn't all of the summit, like the statues of Marika? They're like
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Save points throughout the entire game.
Yeah. No, because she's like I said, she's like kind of worshipped as a deity, but she's actually not nice, not good person. But it doesn't matter because she still got clout. And like I said, I want bragging rights. So I want more of the experience after
kissing
the kiss itself
up,
than the
you should
kiss
say.
itself. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just a lowly tarnished kissing the queen. Flame of ambition. Yep, I got you.
Nice.
All right, who'd you kiss?
I would kiss Melina.
Ooh, yeah, right.
She's the guide right from the beginning.
Yeah,
she's again
cute.
the NPC.
She's cute. She's there. She gets a horse. She gives you a horse. I'd kiss her just for getting a horse.
Yep,
that's a good one.
Yeah, and she's mysterious. She's behind that black robe. You're like, what? Okay.
She's technically your maiden, right? So she gives you the levels, right? She levels you up.
Yeah.
So
offering guidance and aid.
You know, if you're really lucky, then like each level is just a kiss on the lips, like the fairies, the great fairies in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, what is the name of the lady in the round table that you holds you?
Oh, Roderica. Oh wait, no, Fia. Oh,
yeah, Fia. I'd kiss her. I'm gonna change my answer. Big rewind. I'm gonna kiss Fia. Yep.
Roderica's so cute too. The spirit tuner that you like have to like encourage, and she like goes and talks to the like a little Beauty and the Beast action with the ugly giant man.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay. I would do a little bit more than kiss Fia. I would also hold her too.
Great champion. Would you allow me to hold you, but briefly?
I love how in her quest, when you track her down and finally find her again, I'm not going to spoil anything about that other than the dialogue choice that you have to choose, because she's like,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
what do you want? And you go, I just want you to hold me.
Yep.
One of my favorite single dialogue choices in any video game ever. So
yeah, it's pretty great. And it's in all caps too, which is even better.
It is, yeah. So you're basically, your character's going, I just want you to hold me. Like as if you tracked her down because you loved the hug so much. Poor tarnished. Oh, so funny. The best part is, since I was so in the early game, since I was a prisoner, I had that prisoner helmet on for so much of the
Oh,
early
yeah.
game because it's a super strong helmet, and just seeing the like prisoner with the helmet looking like they're trapped in a cage, just like being held, so great. That's a good pick. So
Well, sorry,
I
Melina.
guess
Fia takes precedent. So
yes, yeah, okay, all right, Fia, yeah, it's a good pick there. All right, who would you kill?
it's your turn. You go first.
Oh, it is my turn. I would kill. Technically, it was hard to tell if this character was a woman. I pretty much every time I fought her, I actually called her I would be like, "This dude is the worst," rah! And I would use male pronouns and stuff. But turns out, again, this character is actually named after one of the Greek Furies, which was totally a female. So I believe there's lore to support that this character is a woman. Alecto, the ringleader of the Black Knife Guild or whatever. You fight her in one of the Ever jails, and she's just the worst. So mad. So I don't know much about her, but I'm assuming that eventually when we find out, when the lore nerds figure out, she'll probably have some like heartbreaking story that will make me feel bad. I don't care. She's such an awful boss fight. I would murder her over and over and over again if I was given the opportunity. So yeah,
Yep.
Electo, the
Annoying
ringleader.
fight. Yes, definitely.
Awful. Who's
And
your
it goes
annoying
with-
fight who you would murder?
everyone who talks to me about this game knows who I want erased from Elden Ring entirely, as she may have single-handedly ruined or soured the entire game for me, and that is Melania, your wife.
Yes, the
Like,
one I'm wearing. Yeah,
yes.
of course.
She
I was
needs
like,
to go.
Oh, she's impressing me with how incredibly precise her fight is, and you're like, stupid! I hate it. It's killing me
the
over
worst.
and over again.
She's a
Yes.
shard bearer, which I don't know much of the lore about what that means. There's
It
three
just
of
means
them.
she grabbed a chunk of the Elden Ring and got power from it. She's one of
And
the
so she's
all
greedy and selfish and awful.
all the shard bearers are like the children of Queen Marika as well, so they're like all siblings or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know like what that means. But I do know that that's what it is in the lore.
Yep. But she needs to go.
So. All right, I'm gonna tell my wife that you want to kill her. In fact, I think I have you on recording saying that you want to kill my wife, and I don't need any more context because if the police can just show you a clip of like, if the police
is
can
that what
take
they
you to
do?
court,
they just take a segment of a conversation out
it's
of context.
legal,
and
yeah.
just-
If you
Oh,
say
yeah.
so, that's why you're never supposed to confess. It doesn't matter if you did any crime or not. If you're talking to the police, you never confess. Because they can literally, even if you say like, what do you want me to say, that I killed my wife, they can go into court and just give you take that cut piece of the conversation where you say I killed my wife. Yeah, they can do that.
Cool, I just got you. So you killed your own wife.
Oh
That's awesome.
no!
Yep.
I'll cut it. I get it first. All right. Well, then I guess that leaves.
But I get
us
it
to,
last.
So what are you gonna do? You can't get.
So I would cut
you can always
anything that would
You can always just
incriminate me.
re-download it, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I'm going to jail, guys.
Yep,
Well, it's
all
fun.
over.
So I guess we'll have one last hurrah, and I guess we'll talk about the boys now.
All right, so now let's talk about our marry, kiss, kill with the men or the males of the Elden Ring
Let's talk about
bosses.
the boys.
I went first
or
on the
NPCs.
ladies' side, or NPCs, yeah. So you go ahead
right.
with the first pick of who would you marry?
I am 100% marrying General Radon. I don't care if he's crazy.
Oh, that's what I was
care
gonna
if
pick.
He drags me good because he's totally dude. Did you know this is a fun bit of lore I found out recently? There's lore in the game. The dude loved his horse so much that he learned gravity magic in order to keep himself, like, basically he's using gravity magic to keep himself light enough so that he doesn't crush the horse. So that's how he's riding around on that tiny
Whoa.
horse, is because and that's why he has gravity spells that he attacks you with, is
Yeah.
because he's using gravity magic to reinforce and save his poor horse. So
That's
General
pretty cool.
Radon is the
Yeah.
man, and he's holding back the stars. And that sounds like
Yep.
a bad thing, but like in game, that means that the falling star beasts or whatever, and the Astel void, the demons and stuff, there's an invasion from the stars happening in the game that's like happening kind of low key beneath the other drama. And yeah, General Radon was holding all that back. So savior of humanity, as
Mhm.
far as I'm concerned, General Radon's the man.
And I do believe that Renala, my wife on the lady side, was like his
Uh-huh.
arch nemesis, right?
I don't know. Radagon, I know Radagon married her first because there was that whole, like, when you go to there's that one church and there's the turtle with the Pope's hat, who's amazing, by the way. He might be one of my picks.
Hey.
The turtle at the church with the Pope's hat, he talks about how like Renala and Radagon got married, so it was like the Erd tree, which represents Radagon, and Renala, the Raya Lucaria Academy. that they were like united there inside of both, at a church inside of both things. But then you find out that Radagon dumped her at some point and married Queen Marika instead. And that's at least part of why we are in the situation we are at the beginning of the game. So, yeah, Radagon's kind of a DB. And so I don't know what her relation is to Radon, though. So that's
interesting. I thought that holding back
it would make
the
sense,
stars,
though, because it's like, she's all about the moon and the stars.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but if you finish the game and you care about the trophies and you've seen 3 of the endings, there's the implications there for one of the 3 endings.
So who'd you kiss?
Ooh, I'm thinking about this, and I think
I got my answer. So
I think I do have
all right,
one.
here you go. Go ahead. Go for it.
The fire giant.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, big
fire giant,
big redheaded man,
big huge redheaded like a Gimli, but like 6,000 times bigger. Yeah. Just like
that is, I think, one of their biggest bosses yet in regards to just like sheer scope. Like, is God of War level huge, and they've been criticized for not going like. There's a boss who they show off in DS3 who is like he looks like he should be the size of a castle. And then they like scaled him down. He's like tiny when you actually fight him. He's bigger than you, obviously, but he's not huge. And so they've gotten a lot of flack for that. So I was very, very impressed with the fire giant. I think it's a fight that it was only doable with a horse in the game and pretty huge in scale, but nothing like anything out of God of War, but any of the really big bosses out of God of War, but still pretty impressive for what From Software has done. So you kiss that big boy, climb up his beard and give him a smooch.
Yeah, you know,
no, I'm into it.
Well, it's family friendly, so we'll just stop with that. Yes, let's climb his beard and give him a kiss.
Give him like a big old kiss.
Yep,
plant a big old smacker, a wet one, on his fiery lips. Yeah, I gotcha. I would kiss Blade, who technically counts as a boss. I don't know if you actually fought him, but you do. If you go at the end of Ronnie's quest, if you go back to the tower, he's there weeping over her demise, and you do have to put the poor boy down, and then you can take his armor and his sword as a reward.
Interesting.
But he's the wolfy boy. He's my werewolf boy, and I scratch him behind the ears when I planted a big old kiss on his forehead and or mouth, and then hopefully he'd give me a nice little doggy lick back, and I think it would be fun. I think his
name is Blade.
It's Blide. It's Blaidd. It's like a Irish. Irish name, Blide.
Oh, you actually can fight him?
Yeah, you can go back. It's not just his shadow, because you do fight his shadow in the Ronnie quest line. But if you go back to the tower after the Ronnie quest line's over, you can put the poor boy down because he's gone crazy.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's sad.
It's kind of a little sad, but it's also like you get put the poor boy out of his misery. He's all sad and despondent because he was in love with Ronnie the whole time.
Oh, poor guy.
She like
I get it.
Married you, chose you instead, and she's also gone forever, and so he's like super sad and angry. But you get to keep his armor, and then if you put his helmet on too, the one that makes you look like a wolf, you basically get to just be him, but like tinier, like a scaled down mini version of Blade. But I give him a kiss. I give the poor boy a kiss for all of his trouble. So, and I would say I would have chosen you instead of Ronnie in a heartbeat, Blide. So if I were given the choice, I would have chosen Blide. I would have chosen you, Blide. So hopefully,
there you go.
Put water under the bridge, and I wouldn't have to put him down anyways. Who would you kiss? Oh wait, we already talked about that. Who would you kill?
I would kill Malekith. Malekith.
Oh yeah, that dog.
Like, get out of here! You ruined my Elden Ring experience just a little bit less than Malenia did.
I was gonna say
the 2 of those bosses were the worst and the bane of my existence, and they're awful. And so just get rid of them. They don't need to be there.
I thought Malekith was pretty cool. I didn't have as much trouble with him as you did, though. So.
It was nowhere near compared to Malenia. But of all of the end game bosses, that one gave me the most trouble.
I would kill Radagon, like I said, because he's not a nice dude, and he's kind of a bit of a patsy at the same time. And like he's I still don't know his full role, but my understanding is that he like forged the Elden Ring and therefore the Erd Tree in the first place, so he's kind of responsible for everything. He's a super central figure. I was stoked that we got to kill him because the trophy guide spoiled for me what, quote unquote, spoiled for me what the final boss was. And so I really thought it was going to be super one-dimensional. And then he ended up being involved in that fight. I won't say that he's necessarily the final boss, but he was involved in that fight, and we do get to kick his teeth in a little bit, and I was stoked about that. I will say, From Software, or not From Software so much as Bandai Namco, they get a lot of flack for always revealing like all of the bosses in the game in one way, shape, or form in their trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And there were very few bosses that I saw and I was like, oh, I don't recognize that because I've seen this in the trailer. Like, I think the only one might have been like the snake boss, because like every single other boss was either in one of the cinematic trailers or was just straight up shown in the gameplay trailers. And so From Software fans have a right to be ticked off at those choices of just straight up showing all the bosses before the game comes out. Because Malekith, I remember seeing him. I remember seeing Radon. And we didn't always know they were bosses, but then when they did show up as bosses, I was like, eh. And the very first character we ever saw from anything Elden Ring was Radagon. In the very first trailer, he's like forging, he's like he's hammering the ring or whatever. And it's like clearly a like male body, but with like a long ponytail. So kind of you're like, is that a woman? It's kind of hard to tell in the first trailer, but then like eventually it's very clear to me. So then when we saw him, I was like, picture perfect Radagon. I was like, okay, yep, we've seen him before. So anyways, I'd kill him though. He's a jerk. I don't like him. So cool. All right. Well, that is our last DLC. That is our fun, probably the most fun Elden Ring conversation we've ever had, the two of us. All the rest of them seem to devolve into just name calling. So that is our April Fool's episode for the day. I hope it turns out okay. And next week we have a topic. I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. So unless you have it pulled up, then I might be out of luck here. So yeah, we have a topic next week and we'll be talking about it and it'll be fun. So Termite, what if people want to give their feedback, if they want to give their answers to our fun April Fool's DLCs, or if they want to talk about the fun April Fool's experiences they've had or not fun April Fool's experiences they may have had this week or today, then where can they share those thoughts and more if they have them?
Well, you can tell us how much the war in Ukraine is not a joke and shouldn't be joked about, because next week we're talking about wartime politics and the video game industry and how we should respond to Putin, and you can prime the pump for all of those conversations over at 80bitpodsmash.com. That's our landing website where we have links to all of our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, and our Discord server. So if you have any thoughts that you think companies should respond to Putin, and you get those in there between now and whenever we record, which might be too late because of how we scheduled our stuff, like maybe, just start thinking about that and how you would respond to our conversation about those things. So that's what you can do. 80bitpodsmash.com. Yep.
All right, fantastic. Well, then we'll see you next week, I guess.
See you next week. Well, the week after, because it's Friday. And we're not going to have an episode on Monday. No episode Monday. Right. April 4th is not going to happen.
Surprise. If you're listening to this on Monday, this episode came out like 3 days ago. So
it did.
Welcome to the party. You showed up late as always. Just kidding. We love you. We love people who show up late to parties.
Called out.
It's called fashionably late for a reason. You're fashionable. So thanks for being fashionable. Thanks for listening. Have a happy April Fool's. See you next week.
And we'll see you on the 11th.
Whee!